Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Bogren, let me start with you. I have some concerns about your views on the First Amendment. In litigation representing the city of East Lansing, Michigan, you compared in your briefs a Catholic family's adherence to the teachings of their church to the activities of the KKK and the teachings of radical imams. You stand by those statements?
Senator, respectfully, that is not what I said, and those are not my views.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's not what the brief says?
Not in those words, Senator, no.
You did not compare the beliefs of a Catholic family to the KKK?
Senator, the point I was
Is that your answer?
Senator, the point I was trying to make was that religious beliefs trying to justify discrimination if extended to sexual orientation, which the city of East Lansing protects, could be used to try to justify any other sort of discrimination, whether it be gender or race. That was the comparison I was making.
No, you specifically compared this Catholic family's adherence to their religious beliefs with the views of the KKK, saying that they would be entitled to do the same thing. It's akin, it's equivalent.
Well, I don't mean to quibble, Senator, but I was trying to make a point about what the next step would be and how one would have to not be able to draw a principled distinction.
The other side of that discriminatory coin is found on the website of the White Camellia Knights of the KKK, which is a Texas-based KKK organization. The group states the Klan has always taken a strong stance against interracial marriage. An adherent of that brand of Christianity who ran a business similar to the plaintiffs would not be able to invoke the Free Exercise Clause to avoid anti-discrimination provisions.
Correct. That's what I was trying to just explain, Senator, that if one can justify sexual orientation.
So you think those things are equivalent? You think that the Catholic families pointing to the teachings of their church is equivalent to a KKK member invoking Christianity? That's your view?
From a legal perspective.
You can just give me a yes or no answer on that.
From a legal perspective, Senator.
Can you say no?
There is no distinction.
Oh, so the answer is yes. Let me remind you of a case of the United States Supreme Court that you would be obliged to uphold, the Masterpiece Cake Shop case. In that case, Justice Kennedy wrote for a majority of the court that a government official who compared the petitioner's invocation of his sincerely held religious beliefs to defenses of slavery and the Holocaust, and I'm quoting now, demonstrated impermissible hostility toward the sincere religious belief that motivated his objection. Your language comparing a Catholic family's beliefs to the KKK and to the teachings of radical Islam seems to me to be exactly on point with what Justice Kennedy's saying here. Don't you think that's a problem?
Well, Senator, respectfully, I represent clients, not causes. This is not ideological.
Oh, but you made personal statements. You made statements outside of your brief where you said that these are discriminators, these kind of people shouldn't be allowed to participate in the market in question, right?
I made those statements in court.
So you're saying that this is not your view? You now renounce these views? I tell you what, you can clear this up here today. Why don't you go on the record right now and say that this kind of rhetoric that demonstrates anti-religious animus is wrong and you disagree with it?
Senator, I don't believe that that's what that is. I believe that's vigorous.
So you stand by the comments?
I believe it's vigorous advocacy.
Why don't you I tell you what, let's make this real simple. Let's go back to my first question. Do you stand by those comments that you wrote in your brief and that you reiterated multiple times? Do you stand by those comparisons? Yes or no?
I stand by those comparisons.
Okay, and so I think that raises a question whether you can faithfully apply the Masterpiece Cake Shop. Justice Kennedy's talking about people like you. In that case, is he not?
I don't believe he is, Senator. My role as an advocate is far different than what my role would be.
Yeah, but you just affirmed that this is what you think.
As an advocate, not personally.
No. Don't fence with me. I just asked you whether you stood by the comments. Senator, yes or no. Give me a straight answer.
Senator, with all due respect, that case is still pending.
Are you still the attorney of record?
I am.
Why?
Because I'm still employed by my firm, and we are still representing.
Let me ask you something else. In the same Masterpiece Cake Shop case, Justice Kennedy wrote that the government also demonstrated impermissible hostility toward religious believers when it questioned the sincerity of their religious beliefs. You do exactly the same thing in your brief in the East Lansing case. That's a problem, don't you think?
Senator, neither the brief nor my client has ever questioned the sincerity of their religion.
You certainly do. You say that they apply the teachings of their faith quite selectively. That's your phrase, is it not? Did you write those words?
I did, Senator, but
don't you think that's questioning the sincerity of their faith, that they apply it quite selectively?
Not at all.
Well, what are you trying to say there? That they're hypocrites?
No, I'm not.
Go ahead, explain.
I believe that they sincerely believe the position that they take.
But they apply it quite selectively?
At times.
Meaning what? What are we to infer from that?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I understand your question.
Oh, I think you understand it. You just don't want to answer it.
No, Senator, that's not true.
What is it that we are to infer from your questioning of whether or not they actually apply that, follow the teachings of their faith faithfully? Don't you think that's questioning the sincerity of their faith?
I disagree, Senator.
Well, all I can tell you is I am shocked by the statements that I read in your briefs. I am shocked by this kind of language. I'm particularly shocked by it in light of the Supreme Court's clear teaching that this kind of animus and these kind of hateful comparisons are out of step with the protections of our law and are not permissible. I mean, this case, the Masterpiece Cake Shop case, turned on these issues. It turned on this kind of animus. I mean, the fact that you stand by these comments is extraordinary to me. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.